And welcome to Racers Now for the Monday evening racing chat with SD as we look forward from an anti-post perspective to the big racing at Doncaster this weekend. The final classic of the season takes place at Doncaster on Saturday. There's anti-post races priced up for Thursday, Friday and Saturday at Doncaster. Chiefly looking at Doncaster, but a quick look back on last week, SD, on this very show, a week ago today. We put up the 1-2 in the London Mile. I think there was 14 runners for that race at Kempton. I put up the winner at 8-1. Sky Safari won at 5-2. SD put up Local Hero at 20-1, and he was a next second at 6-1. Not bad.
It was unbelievable. It was fantastic.
It wasn't bad, SD.
Pity it was the wrong way round, but never mind.
Well, that was what I hoped for, and that's what we got delivered. So SD's YouTube tips since April the 6th, every single Thursday and most Mondays, is a whopping plus 57.98 points. You are not going to get that anywhere else. It's as simple as that. We're going to start straight away then, SD, with the St. Ledger itself. I mean, I've already called this race an under par renewal. It doesn't take a genius to work that out. I already called it a bit of an embarrassment from a British representation perspective a couple of weeks ago. And since then, or over the weekend, it's actually got worse because Lazy Griff, who was the only British horse at a single figure price for the St. Ledger, has met a setback or he's injured. He's out for the season for Charlie Johnston. And on Monday, Arabian Force came out at the latest entry stage. That's the William Haggis horse that was third or fourth in the Voltager. So we've got 8 entries. 4 of them are trained by Aidan O'Brien. There's a Paddy Twomey horse in there as well. Karmas for Irish representation. It's not looking good, is it, SD? Let's be honest.
Well, I think, as usual, you're just being sensationalist. You've got your hat on, you know. You're like a tabloid journalist.
I'm not sure it's sensationalist to say that the British representation in the final British Classic of the season is an embarrassment.
Well, what do you want to run in it?
Well, I would have liked Merchant to be in there. He's injured. What about the Voltager winner himself? What's wrong with that one running in it?
Well, Pride of Aris.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that running?
I don't actually know the answer to this. Can Geldings run in the Ledger?
Probably not. So there you go. I don't actually know the answer to that, but that might be the answer. We've got the horse that came second behind Merchant in the Gordon. That was one of the Wimbledon Gredley, one of the Gredley things that could have ran.
Well, they'd burn that bugger out.
Yeah, unfortunately, the horse that you put up,
and I agree with, out of a rosemary cracker.
The one that you are crackers. The one that you put up,
very good.
The one that you put up months ago that I thought had a fair chance. Nighttime Dancer didn't show himself very well at Newbury last time, I will admit. But
the winner from that race is going to run, isn't it?
Yes, Further by Andrew Balding. That one is. But yeah, it's just a poor state of affairs. That's what I would say, SD. I don't think it's not great, is it? It's not a great representation of British trainers, horses, whatever.
Well, of course, it's the world's oldest classic, running in run first in 1776. I'd rather them not run than run a bloody 1.25 mile horse in there. You know, something insidious like that. That would just be bizarre, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, we know the story at the top of the St. Ledger market. We've got Scandinavia, the SD put up for the Goodwood Cup, won well. There was rumours
have another one of these rosemary crackers, very tasty. I've even put a little bit of butter on.
I'm sick of hearing about them already. We're only 2 minutes in. There was talk about him going down under Scandinavia and skipping the St. Ledger. I thought that was unfounded. SD thought that was unfounded. And to this point, it looks unfounded. Lambourne's in there as well. I think Lambourne is the point of the conversation, SD, because I wouldn't be surprised still now if Lambourne did not run on Saturday.
No, I wouldn't.
He's in there at 3-1.
Just finish this cracker. Yeah. I think you've done your usual trick about Aidan O'Brien. You get very, very animated about this, trying to second guess what he'll do. You know what? Some of Aidan's horses yesterday and over the past week or so have been very, very disappointing indeed. For his usual high standards, he's been, well, to be honest with you, they've been running absolutely terrible, some of them, haven't they?
Yeah. Well,
some of them have run all right, you know. Line in Winter ran all right.
Yeah, he was 0 from 4 on Sunday over in Paris, but very competitive racing in the main. Los Angeles, I don't know what they're trying to do with him. They rode him from the front again. World, they tried to ride her from the front. She got beat at odds on. Lion in Winter ran well, as you say, and I've forgot what the other one was. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Lambourne didn't run in here, before the Voltager. He was all class, remember? The Dual Derby winner. He was all guns blazing for the Arc. He was very, very flat in the Voltager, so that plan appears to have changed. I think he does have the option to run in the Irish St. Leger on Sunday. Not a classic because it's open to all ages, but they do have Jan Brugel and Illinois in there. The 1-2 from last year's Doncaster Leger in this year's Irish Leger. So I'm not sure, but I just wouldn't be surprised if Lambourne didn't run. But the question being, SD, or the speculation being, who are going to ride? Say Scandinavia and Lambourne do run. They've got another one in there as well, Stay True, that looks likely to run. Who's going to be riding these? Ryan Moore's injured, as we
Why
know.
are you so fascinated? I'll have another
No, I
cracker
just
while
think
you sort of...
I think it is interesting because it is going to mean that a jockey that doesn't usually dine at a classic winning table is going to have a chance, a 5-4 chance, or a 3-1 chance to ride a classic winner. Sean Levy did it last year on Jan Brugel. I think it's going to be Tom Marquand, particularly with that one that's come out today, Arabian Force, who Tom would have ridden for Mr. Haggis. I think Tom might get on Scandinavia or Lambourne. That's what I think.
Well, it's just boring, isn't it? I don't care.
Okay,
Providing there's not some idiot on. I mean, I know you're trying to produce content, but no, I don't give a shit personally. Providing there's a decent jockey on, it don't matter to me. I think it's important we look at the weather, isn't it?
Yes, I think that's important, yeah.
David Atwood, who's actually quite a good clerk, actually, very good at communicating. He's calling it good to soft in places at the moment. The showers coming west to east all week, so, the Pennines will probably get most of them. It's quite interesting. There's some very heavy rain forecast, potentially on Saturday. So that could be interesting. And you know what? A lot of these I didn't think wanted soft ground at all. It'll just be it'll blow it wide open. You don't know with a lot of them either.
Yep.
So it just throws another imponderable. I don't think there's a bet in the race at the moment. Look, I can see where people are going with Lambourne, but good God, I mean, I just don't get excited about him at all. I've never got excited about him, and I think he won a crap derby.
You've said that for a while, to be fair, and he was very flat in that Voltager. They say, not me saying it, but they say that they went very slow, blah blah blah, down the back straight, slow. But and he'll be different when there's a pace on. But with only 8 runners in the Leger, or maximum of 8, could be less. There might not be any pace on this weekend either.
Well, he's put Saratoga in, hasn't he?
Yeah. Shall we move on
for that reason? I think. Do you know what I did? I did some dirty doubles last week with Lazy Griff. I permed. You're not going to like this. I permed 3 horses in the Sprint Cup who were drawn high. The one I didn't select won. So I permed Flora Bermuda. I actually pretty much permed the first 3. Actually, I'll show you the bet later. With Lazy Griff, Further, and Rahiebb. So there you go.
3 places, I'm guessing.
3 places, yeah. So it's quite a nice little bet. It wouldn't. What I would say is, you go back to the Queen's Vase. There's not a lot between them. If you look at the Queen's Vase, so Rahiebb, for example, wasn't at all far behind this Carmes. A length, in fact. Sorry, the iPad. I'm clicking on it. I'm trying to get the Queen's Vase up. So Carmes.
Yeah. So Carmes, Further, and Rahiebb were covered by 1 length.
They were all covered by 1 length. But the each way fizz has been very much extinguished on this race, hasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, as there's already some bookies out there betting first 2 anti-post.
Are they not all first 2? I'd be astonished.
No, they're not all first 2. I've got it in front of me. You can still get first 3 with most of them. 365 Hills, Fred, 888, Bet MGM.
It's very generous, because my guess is at least one of them. What
Paddy
price is Rahiebb now?
Rahiebb with the first 3 boys, you can have 33-1.
Let's have a 1/4 of a point each way for Elder Robs, winning yard. I think that's fair enough.
Okay. I'll type that up for you now, SD. Right, moving on to a race that we are having a bet in, or we certainly were before we started recording. The Park
This is
Stakes.
going to be. This is quite funny, actually. Are you going to tell this wonderful story of
You tell the
saying,
story, and I'll type your thing.
Well, so what we do here at races now is I typically give Knobhead there the selections about an hour and a half before, and I was fancy this, fancy that, and there's another member of the group who's quite well. He's not a stranger to the channel, but he's a very knowledgeable man. So I then just said, he said, "Do you like anything, SD?" I said, "Yes, yes, I do. Yes, I like 10 Bob Tony." And lo and behold, Mr. Trumpet here goes, "For fuck's sake." So it would appear that we both agree. I mean, I'm playing the race slightly different to you because I think it'll cut up a hell of a lot, especially if it rains. I think this could really cut up.
I'm going to play it with balls though, SD, whereas you're playing it safe, going each way at 6-1. This is the Park Stakes. This is the 7 furlong Group 2 race, and I just think that this is, as SD says, he thinks it might well cut up. So do I. There's 15 in there. Shadow Alight's in there. He ran a stonker in the in the Guineas earlier this season. First time up, finished third, a length behind Ruling Court. Didn't stay. Then went off 6-4 favourite for the Commonwealth. That didn't go to plan. Then he's finished fourth in a 7 furlong race, Jean Pratt, over at Deauville. So he's tried 8, 6, and 7 this year. They're coming here 7-4. He could well win, of course, but away from him.
Run if it's soft. I think there's a chance it could be soft on Saturday. I know he won a Dewhurst on by
Yeah, I do think he will run if he's soft. Yes, he did win a Dewhurst on soft, but they said at the time that he wanted quicker. It was officially showing on Racing Post soft at Deauville, but you just never know in France ever, as we saw over the weekend. I just think away from him, there's question marks over him. Obviously, Shadow of Light. He's not done much winning this year. Ground as SD has posed, but away from him, I think it's a poor renewal. I mean, I quickly ran through him earlier. Room Service wants it properly soft, and it probably isn't going to be properly soft. King's Gamble hasn't won for ages, and he wants it quick. It probably isn't going to be quick either. Poet Master hasn't ran since March. Quinault and Audience will do their usual, go from the front and don't win very often, the pair of them. East Hampton and Ides of March just aren't good enough on what we've seen. So that leads me, and I think SD as well, to 10 Bob Tony. I mean, he might have his perfect ground, good to soft. On the softer side of good. Softer than that's fine as well. But I think the key to him, 10 Bob Tony, is fresh. He's record fresh. He's fantastic. His record after 100 days or more off is 1, 2, and 1. The most recent of which came when winning the John O'Gaunt at ADOC, as SD will well know, in
got this stat from
very battling fashion. I think he's a cracking each way, 10 Bob Tony. 10 Bob Tony, yeah, has had 3 breaks in his career of over 100 days or more.
Well, he finished fourth first time up.
Yeah. So since then, he's had 3 breaks of 100 days or more. He's finished first, second, and first. They all.
No, he hasn't. He's finished
he has.
4th, 8th.
You've lost your marbles.
Oh, this bloody guide! Honestly, it's terrible.
Oh, so that'll be my fault that the SD's iPad's not working. I'm telling you now, since his debut, he's had 3 breaks of 100 days or more, and his form figures of those breaks of 100 days or more are 1, 2, and 1. The most recent one is he's only run this year in the Betfred John O'Gaunt Stakes on the 31st of May, Group 3, 7 furlongs.
Use of the sponsor there.
I don't usually do that. And then he's been a non-runner on suitable ground, good and good to firm at Goodwood and York since then.
I'll tell you what the key is.
He goes perfectly well fresh. Ed Walker's got having a very, very good season. SD is insinuating that the removal of the crown jewels has done good for 10 Bob Tony. So SD is going each way, I believe. I am going 1 point win, 6-1. You can give your reasoning now, SD, or you could just say that you agree with every word I've said.
Well, they knew at Haydock, didn't they? I actually put 10 Bob Tony up at Haydock.
I think I was away. Where was I that day? I was on holiday. I think
probably in court or something.
No, you did. You put it up at like 12-1, and it went off 5s.
They absolutely
battled like a battler. Yeah, they did.
The key to this horse is a bit of dig in the ground. He's improving. The balls have come off. I think they've a very, very fair shout with this. I tell you what, I do agree with you on. I thought Seagulls 11 might run a race at a massive price. But the one thing I do agree with you on is this renewal is thin. There's a lot of horses which are entered elsewhere. There's a lot of horses who certainly wouldn't want that much rain.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the old Quinnell audience. Let's have a match up and just try and bury them, which
cause chaos.
Yes.
To each other.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, it just struck me. It was just a very thin race. I think Marvel Man probably goes on any ground. And I actually put him up at Newbury, but he never looked like bloody winning, did he? And 10 Bob Turney's won one of these, and that may well be enough again.
Yep, we both like that one. The Portland is on Saturday as well, 5.5 furlongs handicap. We'll no doubt cover that with a likely maximum field of 22 on the Thursday show when the
I think the ground's important. You've got the likes of Air Force One, who I wouldn't be overly keen on quick, on softer ground. I'd like to see something like Eternal Sunshine run, but might just be not quite high enough in the weights. I think Eternal Sunshine is improving very, very quickly indeed. But again, I was looking at it earlier. I looked at Apollo 1, but he was awful last time. Didn't look the best renewal in the world. But we'll preview a bit more.
Yep. The Champagne Stakes is the other Group 2 at Doncaster on Saturday. 2-year-olds over 7 furlongs this time. Looked a decent enough renewal to me, SD. You got the Acon winner in there, Guan, or however you want to say that.
I've no idea what'll run. Have you?
I don't see. Well, they're not double entered over in the island. I mean, Saba Desert is. We'll find out about that one tomorrow.
Italy is, isn't it?
Oh yeah. The O'Brien ones are, of course, yeah. Yeah, so we'll find out about the O'Brien ones, but I mean, they're the shortest price of them is Italy 5-1. There's all sorts of different opportunities they've got this weekend in Ireland and this race, of course. So we've got the Acon winner, they've got the Superlative winner in Saba Desert. We've got this Oxagon, who was a bit of a talking horse before he won at Sandown by 8 lengths, but that was only in a novice. So yeah, obviously when Aiden's 4 in there are whittled down to possibly 1. We'll have a better picture there, but
it'll take shape more.
Yes, we talk about Jocked Up. I usually hate it, but this Saba Desert, who there's certainly been no noises about him being the big Charlie Appleby National Stakes horse, which is in Ireland this Sunday, where I've tipped Gustad. William Buick's away in Canada, and Billy Loughnane is already jocked up on this horse, which I usually try and avoid from an anti-post perspective, but his name does appear against Saba Desert at the moment. You could see him going off favourite.
Use this and then caveat it at least half a dozen times this season.
When you come to me often in that said group that you spoke about earlier, and particularly for handicap, saying jocked up, I don't normally take it on board, but I do have a vested interest in Saba Desert running in this race and not in Ireland, because as I predicted, I think Gustad will go off odds on for that national stakes, and I've tipped him at 7-2.
Good.
Shell, is there any other anti-post races you want to talk about? Doncaster?
Yes, there is. There's this opening handicap on Saturdays for some weird name.
This is listed as the PJ Towie construction handicap, and it's down on Ozchecker as just a construction handicap. Yes, this is a 1 mile.
PJ Towie's happy. I'll tell you what, if they did that to Betfred, they'd get the legs slapped. But because it's poor PJ Towie, they don't give a shit. Anyway, on the assumption we get some rain, Atlantic Gamble's a bit of a weapon, with a bit of give in the ground. It is just steadily progressive. Was third in one of these diabolical racing league races last time. The handicapper has put him up pound for that, which is a little unfair. But I think he's basically a progressive horse who will go in conditions, and a lot of these you could say no. He's also relatively fresh as well. You know, they've what sort of order is this in? God knows. Anyway, they've not over raced him this year. He's had a midsummer break. I think this will be his seventh run of the year, but he's not run for 6 weeks, and that's probably a bonus as we go into autumn. He's got a pretty good record. The last few runs, his win rate is exceptionally good for an 82 rated horse. 6 from 17, hitherto unexposed on turf. I thought there was a lot to like at 25.
This is one of them, SD, where I give you credit because this takes some digging, really. And if you dig deep enough, you might find some gold when it comes to Atlantic Gamble because his form figures, there's all weather and turf in there, 008 533. Like you say, when you do the digging, softer ground, good strike rate generally, been running in daft races like the Racing League. Yeah, I think
Very much in form. He didn't particularly get the rub of the green last time either at Yarmouth. He got just got a little bit buffeted.
Yep,
Yeah.
fair enough. I thought the other one, there is plenty of familiar names in that race. The other one to mention for Doncaster this week, I thought, was the Flying Childers on Friday. Yeah, because that's Group 2, 5 furlong, 2-year-olds. You've got Mission Central in there for Aidan O'Brien, who looks as quick as you like. He was bang impressive last time. There was a 28 runner maiden at Naas earlier in the summer, and he won that by 8 lengths. I remember tweeting about that at the time. It's ridiculous. 28 runner maiden. Then he's won a Group 3. This is a Group 2. And also in there, you've got that Lady Imam, out and out 2-year-old speedball for Girl Lions, blew her chance before the Numthorpe at York, or York blew her chance. Whichever way round that happened, and people will know about what we're talking about there. Then you've got Havana Hurricane in there as well, second in the Super Sprint, has been very productive this season for Eve. I thought that was quite an interesting race.
It is, but again, it may come down to ground, and I think Lady Imam, don't forget, these things are quite immature. Obviously, Lady Imam's a little bit more forward than some of the others, but it was a nasty old experience at York, and you come in off the back of an immature horse having a nasty experience. So wouldn't be my idea of the winner at all. I don't know. I've seen dafter things. An exclamation would run a race, but because it was a bad race he won, but it absolutely pissed up here. It wouldn't completely surprise me. But I've left the race alone. There's multiple Aidan O'Brien things. You will spend ages pontificating on which one's going to run, and I'll just look at the form on Wednesday or Thursday night.
Well, there is two, to be honest with you, SD. This Kansas is entered in the sales race as well at Doncaster this week. I think Mission Central, should I say, has only got the one entry. I think it'll run in this, and I think he looks pretty speedy, to be fair. Again, interesting who picks that ride up, but we're not allowed to speculate because SD doesn't like that. SD, we've done that.
It's just very boring, isn't it?
We've done the draw for SD's Doncaster ticket giveaway. 4 tickets are going in the direction of Des Fellows. We did an official draw with an official adjudicator earlier, SD, so you can catch that on the socials as well.
Yes.
And we've got a
Even
special edition.
Especially.
I did. We've got a special edition Racers Now interview with
friend of the channel.
He's back. Friend of the channel.
We'll be back. Channel's back. Now, just on some other thing. I think it's just worth touching on the Sprint Cup.
Yep.
I'll tell you which horse went in my notebook. I said to you after the race, I think Time for Sandals has run an absolute corker. And if by some anomaly it was not Boggy at Ascot on Champions Day, I'd be very, very interested there.
Yep. SD called it last week. He said you needed to be drawn high. That was the title of the video or on the thumbnail. You needed to be drawn high. SD called it, and that's where they came from. I mean, the first four were drawn, all in the teens, basically, weren't they, SD?
Yes.
Yep. SD called it, and that's what you
It
get
was
here.
published. It was published. This
Yeah,
wasn't some
absolutely.
sort of,
Yeah.
you've got to take notice of that. And I think we'll just quickly talk about Hilson. I don't know if you've seen this. There's all this talk about, the jockey was only paid this and that. I mean, Dylan Kitts got Hilson tattoo on his backside to put the incident behind him. I kid you not. I just find it wholly unsatisfactory. We should obviously let justice do its course, but those who are saying, and there have been comments on this on social media, Dylan Kitts is a nice lad, he acted under duress, blah blah blah. There are safeguards in place for that sort of thing, and to say he shouldn't get any punishment at all is quite frankly poppycock.
Okay, we'll end it on that. Like I say,
What's your opinion on Dylan Kitts? I know you did.
It's took like 3 years to conclude, has it not? It was in a jumps race at Worcester, which clearly isn't top of my priority list to be watching. Yeah. What more? There's nothing more I can add, really, SD. Yeah, the whole thing needs turning upside down. If you're asking me in terms of, I know this is a different subject, but in terms of, we've seen over the weekend careless riding, dangerous riding, whatever you want to call it. There'll be this incident, what we're talking about with Hill, whatever it was called at Worcester. There's one of them happens a week that just gets brushed under the carpet, and then the ones that get called out or get inquired into and not brushed under the carpet, the rare ones, take 2 years to sort, and we have appeals and this, that, and
I think this is one of the worst you've ever seen. I mean, this was so we need to let justice do its course, but he's admitted to it. This was a stopping ride. There's a bit of a difference in a considerate ride and a stopping one, and this was a stopping one. That horse should have won. Now, I agree with you. It is part of the game, getting horses handicapped, etc. But there's a difference in that, and there's also a difference in, say, backing other horses, for example, laying your own horses, that sort of thing. I think it's important to differentiate. There will be people out there and say, oh, such and such about it. I mean, you go back to Rosalien yesterday and people want to lynch Sean Levy. There's a lot of disgruntled punters out there, There was a comment today you sent me, which was asking, and I kid you not, there was that terrible fall at York yesterday, and people were asking for justice refunds for Bet365. I mean, this sort of behaviour it's just absolute shit, isn't it?
Yep, it is. It is. We could be here all night talking about Rosalien. I'm a big fan of Rosalien. I'm a fan
Are
of
you
Richard
still
Hannon.
a big fan?
No, not now, because like I was going to get to this. Obviously, it's not Rosalien's fault the horse can't talk, but the way that I like Hannon, genuinely, I like Richard Hannon, but the way that they're going on about it is, he said after Goodwood when he finished second that we know we've got the best miler in Europe. Then he said whatever he said yesterday. Oh, we basically won or we didn't lose. Like, this horse has finished second in 4 Group 1 or 3 Group 1s back to back. Probably an eye catcher in the Lockinge before that, if you want to describe him as that. But yeah, the horse is not unlucky. The horse is not unlucky. The horse has just not been good enough this year in what is a pretty open, particularly older miler division, and probably the all-age division milers, because Field of Gold is injured or put a blot on his copybook at Goodwood. So yeah, I loved Rosalien as a 2-year-old. You know that. I backed him in that, whatever it's called, the Pat Edery or whatever it is at Ascot. I backed him for the Guineas that year. I thought he'd won the Guineas, but obviously clearly he was second that day. So my conclusion is that he's not as good as Richard Hannon hoped he was, and he's not as good as people like me thought he was last year, because the second best horse he finished in front of last year was called Henry Longfellow, and no one will ever remember that horse. So yeah, he's not unlucky.
He's just lost.
Not
He
been
had a bit of
proven to be
mojo
good
last
enough.
year, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
had a little bit of mojo at the end of the race. And look, you can keep saying the horse is unlucky, but that's a very, very easy way to the pull. I'm not saying you are, but it's a very easy way to the pull for him. And I just think with Rosalian, maybe he doesn't want it as much. I mean, quite what Sean Levy should have done yesterday from that draw. You know, there are people out there saying it was a shit run. He had little other choice. I mean, the winner was virtually with him turning in. So again, he's just not quite accelerating quite as quick as he used to be, and then sustaining it.
And what happens to me in situations like this is that, Rosalind, one of my favourite horses of the last few years. My opinion ends up getting tainted by the rubbish that is being spoken around him by his fans and his connections, including Mr. Hannon. It happens to me with boxers, whereby what is the things that are going around and being said on the periphery and all the hype and the BS, basically. He's not been proven good enough this year in what's not a vintage year for milers, older and classic generation. That would be my conclusion. Right, plenty gone through there, SD, and we are coming back a bit later.
Stay tuned for friend of the channel.